Those darn bra-burning, man-hating feminists. Wait, how did feminism become synonymous with bra-burning and man-hating? Is there something to that stereotype? Or was it just made up? Fair or unfair? We'll let you be the judge. To get to the root of it, let's go back to the first time feminists were called bra burners, the Miss America pageant of 1968 in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Saturday at 7 p.m., see the Miss America pageant.
The event linking bra burning to feminism starts not with feminists themselves, but with a journalist from the New York Post named Lindsay Van Gelder. In September 1968, Lindsay heard that the New York Radical Women's Group was hosting a protest of the Miss America pageant in order to bring more visibility to the women's liberation movement by protesting the pageant's focus on women's bodies over their brains. Lindsay was a supporter of the women's liberation movement, so she really wanted to get the word out about the protest, but she knew that her male bosses would never publish anything in support of the protest. She knew that she had to craft an article interesting enough to spread widely, but critical enough that the Post would actually publish it. She succeeded. Her article, titled "Bra Burners Plan Miss America Protest," was published 3 days before the actual protest. Lindsay got what she wished for. The article, and especially the headline, attracted global attention and spurred hundreds more articles across the world. Unfortunately, most of it wasn't positive. The press immediately used the term bra burners to vilify the protesters and trivialize their concerns. Bra burning burned into the world's imagination before any bras were actually burned. And what's more, no bras were ever actually burned that day. There was a freedom trash can at the protest, into which women could throw away what they called instruments of female torture, such as high heels, curlers, girdles, Playboy magazine articles, and yes, bras. But nothing was actually burned. Side note, Lindsay Van Gelder, who would later write for Ms. Magazine, admitted she regretted using the phrase bra burner. At the Post, I coined the phrase bra burning. I hope it's not my most lasting contribution to the culture. But instead of correcting their error, the New York Post instead doubled down on the rumor they started. Their actual article covering the pageant was titled "The Bra Burners." The article read, "The final and most tragic part of the protest took place when several of the women burned their brasiers. These well-meaning but misled females were trying to destroy everything this country holds dear." I didn't know that everything this country holds dear could be boiled down to false eyelashes and girdles. America's response to the protest highlights why the women were protesting to begin with. The Bra Burners article says, "There are still many men who would like to club women over the head if they're given the slightest excuse. And there is no better excuse for hitting a woman than the fact that she looks just like a man." Remember, this wasn't some small publication that no one would ever read. This was the New York Post, a reputable nationwide publication, saying that not adhering to beauty standards was a justifiable cause for a beating. Despite the fact that no bras were actually burned, anti-feminists latched onto the phrase bra-burning feminists in an attempt to discredit the movement by painting feminists as angry, irrational, and attention-seeking. The emphasis on bra-burning also served to sideline another major goal of the protest, which was to draw attention to the pageant's racist prejudices. As of 1968, there had never been a Black woman in the Miss America pageant. Even though bra-burning didn't actually happen, it is an image and a phrase that has remained synonymous with feminism for over 50 years. The 1968 protests didn't do much to change the Miss America pageant, but they did start a global conversation about women's liberation. It's often considered the launch event of second-wave feminism. And what about that other common phrase associated with feminism? Man-hating. Did those second-wave feminists hate men? For sure, some feminists did hate men. But here are some interesting statistics. In a recent study of about 1,700 women, feminists were just as likely as non-feminists to hold positive attitudes towards men. A survey of almost 10,000 people found that individuals identifying as feminists overall held a positive view towards men. In fact, men reported more negative views towards men than the feminists did.
I hold myself in contempt Why should you be any different?
And looking back at the activists of the 1970s, it seems to me that if they really hated men, they might take revenge on them in acts of violence or try to get legislation passed that would oppress them. So did they? Let's see. What did those feminists of second-wave feminism actually do? They helped get women the right to hold credit cards under their own names and apply for mortgages. They outlawed marital rape. They made it legal for both married and unmarried women to use birth control. They raised awareness about domestic violence. They built shelters for women fleeing rape and violence. They named and legislated against sexual harassment in the workplace. They wrote books like The Feminine Mystique so that housewives would know that they weren't alone in feeling unfulfilled. They got the Equal Pay Act and Title IX passed, making it illegal to discriminate against women in education or employment. Call me crazy, but those don't seem like hateful acts. Now, while they accomplished an awful lot, neither the women nor the movement were perfect. Betty Friedan, author of The Feminine Mystique and co-founder of the National Organization for Women, threw her queer sisters under the bus, calling lesbians the Lavender Menace. And she and other white leaders also neglected and sometimes outright betrayed their BIPOC sisters. Friedan actually left the group she co-founded, the National Organization for Women, when she was criticized for her stubborn attitude towards classism and racism. And then she called the new leadership of now bra-burning anti-man women. Nice, Betty. Even the organizer of the Miss America pageant protest, Carol Hainich, had some regrets about her event. She said, "One of the biggest mistakes of the whole pageant was our anti-womanism. Miss America and all beautiful women came off as our enemy instead of our sisters who suffer with us." That's a good point. Still, feminists and non-feminists alike owe a lot to this group of women. Non-feminists today sure seem to like having credit cards and birth control and soccer teams for their daughters, but they are quick to forget who fought for those rights. Although, to be fair, maybe non-feminists haven't forgotten who won those rights, they just haven't ever been taught. We have war memorials in every major metropolitan city of the country, but there is no public memorial where we honor the women of the second wave of feminism. And despite 20-page chapters on World War II and the Civil Rights Movement, rightfully so, one high school senior said that in her AP US history textbook, there was one measly paragraph, less than 100 words, dedicated to women. So what are the consequences of remembering things that never happened, like bra burning, and forgetting the things that did? One of them has got to be that despite 79% of people wanting equality between men and women, only 29% want to be called a feminist. If all you know about feminism is that a bunch of angry women got together to burn their bras and yell about how much they hate men, you too might hesitate to call yourself a feminist. But returning to our original question, was that story even true? Is that stereotype fair? How do you feel about it now that you know the real story? Let me know in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Please take a second to like this video, subscribe, and then pass it along to a friend.